Hello guys, I'm Craig McLean. Welcome to episode 37 of the Mark 1 Escort RS 2000 reassembly. Now, it's time to get the car MOT'd in this episode. We're going to get it MOT'd so then we can then get it on the road and try and iron out the issue that you may have seen in the last episode where we had the issue on the rolling road of the car losing power after 4,000 RPM. So the whole point of getting it MOT'd is so that we can drive it on the road and then we can get the laptop connected and hopefully pinpoint the issue. So yeah, let's get the car ready for its MOT, get it MOT'd, and let's get on the road and have a bit of fun and hopefully resolve that issue. Another thing I will say as well, guys, when you see me and Anthony go out for the drive for the first time, we're having a bit of fun, we're having a bit of a laugh. It's just two guys in the car having a bit of fun. And maybe the language isn't exactly what you would expect all the time. So, if you've got young kids and stuff, you might want to cover their ears up, or maybe not let them watch it, because there's a little bit of choice language from time to time. Nothing aggressive, but just two guys being two guys, having a bit of fun, having a bit of a laugh, but a bit of swearing going on. But I'm sure you know what that's all about. Anyways, let's crack on and get the car ready for its MOT. So following on from the rolling road, one of the little issues we kind of highlighted on the day was this. Now this is, if you've watched previous videos, a fitting we made, which is obviously the petals took the paint off, for the outlet on the tank. Now this was the little filter inside and the pipe that fed it. Now if you look, that isn't a very big opening, maybe 5 mil, 5.5 mil, something like that. And the fuel pump would make a bit of a weird noise every now and again. It would hum away, and then all of a sudden it would make a noise, and then it would make a noise again, all the way, the whole time that it's running. And talking to Jonathan, he thinks that it's the fact that the fuel pump isn't getting the flow that it requires. And now, obviously, over a prolonged period of time, that will probably prematurely fail the pump, which is the last thing I want if I'm miles away from home. So I've chopped this filter section off because the pump's got its own filter in, and I've also got an inline filter after that. So I'm not too worried about removing this little inline filter. It would have been nice to keep it, but can't be helped. So I'm now going to drill this out. I'm going to take this out as big as I possibly can. Maybe go, 12 mil or something, to get a real good flow from the tank right down the unions to the pump. I'll let you see that when I get it finished. Right, that took out to, 11.5 mil. I wanted to take it to 12, but I couldn't find a 12 steel drill, a decent 12 steel drill, so 11.5 it is. And I think if I start going any more, I might start getting a bit close to the threads. So, because it's slightly off center. The hole in the fitting is actually slightly off center. So on that side, I don't want to mash them threads up. So yeah, that is a hell of an improvement from what it was. So I think that is ample. I just need to get that put back together, need to get that repainted, and hope that we have no leaks. Now, I didn't get any footage of replacing this. This is the heater matrix out of the heater. Don't know if I've mentioned so far, but when we got back from the dyno and we were playing about with it, trying to resolve the issue, I noticed the bottom of the heater box was getting wet with coolant, and I knew exactly what it was right away. This is the original heater matrix. That we cut the pipes down to obviously work better with the Rigg Tech. And we actually pressure tested this. For people who've watched, you'll have seen this being pressure tested in a previous video. I think we took it to about 15 or 20 psi, something like that if I remember rightly. And then we dipped it in water, in a bucket of water, and we left it for a while, and it was absolutely perfectly sealed solid. So I thought, rather than spending 100 odd quid on a new one, I would take a chance with it. Well, that's my own stupid fault, isn't it? Because it started leaking. And it seems a little bit damp from this bottom corner here. We think it's somewhere down there that it's leaking. But I've actually I should have got some footage of you, but I just wanted to get stuck into it because I knew this was going to be a bugger of a job to do. Because underneath the dash is all crammed and everything's hard to get into with all the ECUs and power steering and whatnot. So yeah, I bought a new one from Retro Ford. And I've got to say, it's a much, much better fit because they've redesigned the pipes so they're a better shape to work in conjunction with the Rigg Tech. And it means you can put the Jubilee clips on the inside under the dash. Bit tricky to get at. My mate Anthony was a fantastic help today with this because it was quite a tricky job, and having two of us was a massive help. But we've got it fitted in, and the hose clips are now under the dash, and what it now means is the pipe that runs along the back of your block, or the back of your head rather, for your heater, the little elbow, there's now a really decent gap between the back of the head and that pipe. I can actually get my finger in the gap, whereas before it was touching, and I was a bit worried that over time it might chafe the pipe. So I think, having replaced it for the retro Ford one, not only has it got rid of the leak, but I think in the long term it'll probably be a better setup as well. So yeah, that's all fitted. It took a bit of getting the air out the system. We kept pressurising, but we've got the air out now. There's no leaks, thankfully. So yeah, that's just another little job out the way. And tomorrow is MOT day. So 1st of April 2022, the big day has come to take the Escort for MOT. So this means driving the car on the road for the very first time. Thankfully, it's only about maybe 2 miles away. We haven't got far to go. But yeah, this will see what the car performs like on the open road, and then after MOT, obviously, I can tax it. Not that it really needs tax, because it's obviously tax exempt, but I've obviously got to notify the DVLA on the road, and then we can start getting some miles put on it. So anyways, I'll see you when I get there. I'll see you when I get to Rigg Tech for its MOT. Time for MOT. If I get there. So here we are at Rigg Tech. Scott's just started this business up very recently. Everything's absolutely gleaming. Absolutely love the sign. But anyways, it's in the middle of its MOT. We'll see how it goes. Well, here we are, back home after the MOT. And she passed with flying colours. Chuffed to bits. Scott was more than happy with the build quality, and you know, there was one tiny little thing where I think the rear passenger side brake wasn't quite as responsive as the other side. Still a pass, but this one wasn't quite as responsive. But the self-adjusting, because I've got Mark II set up on this, so anyways, it's passed. That's the main thing. I went slightly longer on the way home. I need to tax it now, but I went slightly longer on the way home, and it seems to drive really, really nice. I'm chuffed with the way it drives. So yeah, I just need to tax it now, and we can hopefully get some miles on it. While we're on the subject of MOTs, if any of you guys could possibly direct me in the right direction or give me any information. I wasn't sure whether I needed to MOT it or not, because when you look into the DVLA, into their guidance, it says if it's been significantly altered within the last 30 years, then it needs MOT'd. What is classed as significant? What is classed as significantly altered? Because I really don't know, and there's no clear guidance to state what significantly altered means. Because to me, significantly altered means space framed, or rear engine, something crazy. Whereas this has got a couple of light upgrades. It's got a different engine from the same line of the Ford manufacturer. It mounts the same way onto the original front cross member. It's got an original Ford gearbox, not necessarily from this car, but it's a Ford gearbox. There's nothing really majorly significantly altered. It's got Bilstein suspension all round, and obviously original rear leaf springs. But is that classed as significant? I really don't know. I've spent a long time looking online, and the information on there is as clear as mud. It just does not state what is significant. So if any of you guys know, please let me know, because if I don't need to get it MOT'd, I keep on top of them, I keep everything right, I probably won't MOT them, but I definitely want to find out for sure. I don't want to be doing anything wrong. So yeah, please drop me a message if you know any definitive answers to that question, or if you know where I can actually read up on that. Well, I've just successfully put 45 miles on it, and a lovely little drive on a beautiful day. No issues to report as yet. I'm sure there'll be a little issues that raise the head at some point, but it's drove really, really nice, beautiful to drive. In fact, I'm chuffed with the way it drives. Probably the only one thing I could say is I think it's a little bit, when you're accelerating hard, it's a bit more vibraty than I thought it would be, but that's probably down to the fact that the engine mounts are brand new, the gearbox mount is a big solid unit, everything's, you know, poly bushed, so when you're accelerating hard it does seem to vibrate a bit. But I don't know whether that's normal or not, but what you've got to remember is it's a Mark 1 Escort. It's from the 70s, and when you compare it to today's cars, it's not going to be the most smooth and, you know, rattle free. So, you know, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just something I need to let other people see what they think, and yeah, take it from there. But absolutely over the moon with the way it went today. I couldn't take you along because I've got nothing to hold the camera, and I was on my own today. So as soon as I get a passenger, I'll get you some in-car footage, probably later on in this video. Right guys, might have actually figured out what was wrong on the dyno day with the car losing power at 4,000 RPM. And it might very well be my fault. It was maybe my fault all along, and I'll explain why. So basically, when we were on the dyno day, we got into a bit of a discussion about cam timing, because when I set the cam timing a very long time ago, I didn't have the information. I looked everywhere for the information for this VVT system, how to correctly set it up, and I could not find that information for love nor money. I looked everywhere. I must have spent hours online, and I couldn't find any good information as to how to time it up properly. So I used my initiative and I did it the way I thought. So what I did was, obviously I've had the engine in bits, the bottom end's been in bits, it's all been checked over, the head's been in bits, it's all been checked over, reground the valves in, etc, etc. So when you come to put it back together, obviously the belt's not just going to drop on, so I loosened the centre bolt on the exhaust pulley to allow the belt to drop on, and then basically set the engine at top dead centre. There's a pin that goes in the side. You take a little like a little bolt out, you put a pin in, you turn it round till piston number 1 and 4 reach the top. That's what's known as top dead centre. You can actually shine a torch down and see the top of the piston up at the top. And then there's basically, you turn your two cams, and there's a slot on the back of the cams, and there's a little plate that slides into them two slots. That aligns the cams exactly where they need to be. And then what I did was I put the belt on with this centre bolt loose on this one, but this one tightened up, put the belt on, tensioned the belt, and then when I pulled the bar out the back of the cams, the inlet cam jumped maybe only a degree or so, and I thought, I wonder why that's done that. But when you think about it, this VVT pulley is designed to have so much slip. That's how you get your advancement on your VVT. And I just thought, oh well, that's just must be the way that it is. So I mentioned this on the dyno. Well, I think it was maybe after the dyno day. And the more we got thinking about it, we thought that maybe isn't right. So Anthony, my best mate, managed to find the information through Ford, and he found that basically the way you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to loosen both of them off, both the inlet and the exhaust centre nuts off, so that them two pulleys have got slip on the cams. You then tension the belt, and then you tighten up your centre bolts, and then when you release the bar at the back of the cam, you shouldn't have any slip at all. So we've done that, and that's exactly what happened. When we've pulled the bar out, the cams are now perfectly in line, and they don't jump, they don't slip. But we moved it so minimally that I thought that's not going to have any effect on it. It really isn't going to make that much difference. But I was very wrong, because when I took it for a drive, it actually performs so much better. There's a lot more. It screams a lot more higher up the rev range, whereas before it felt very, very flat. So me and Andy went for a drive with the laptop connected, just to make sure that you know, that things were doing what they were supposed to be. And Andy had the laptop on the VVT graph, and we went for a drive for well over an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and it was following that VVT graph the whole time. So that looks like that it's probably resolved, and it's been my own fault. The only other issue it's got now is basically there's a flat spot in the middle of the rev range, but we're thinking, or we're pretty confident that it's due to a fueling issue, because when it was on the dyno day, Jonathan brought all the fuel down to the top end. So yeah, we've got it built back in JDM, and let's hope this time we get much more success. Yeah, looks like it's been Idiot Ear's fault all along. Well guys, weather isn't fantastic, but it's dry at least. And now that we think we've resolved the issue with the cam timing being a degree or so out, we're now going to go for a good drive with, I'm going to go for a good drive with my best mate Anthony, who's going to connect his laptop up. That's got the OMX software on, and then we're going to be able to plot the graphs as we go along. We're going to be able to make sure everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing and highlight anything that isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. So you may as well come along for the ride, and we'll go for a first decent drive on the open roads.
594939291. Farmers are coming.
I wonder if that's what we can hear. I can't sort of feel around about that.
It's freezing though, I've turned that off. You want me to map it while we're driving?
I got the map now, aye.
Doing 25 there. Yeah, right. Run out of fuel yet, haven't I?
It's still looking alright.
I don't know, I wasn't looking at it.
Oh, alright. Camera coming on, timing error.
Like I said, that was on before.
Oh, it was on before, right? Oh, you never know, eh? Still falling up there?
Yeah, still falling. Probably say that's great, it's late on you. Stop working, so
yeah, it's a good sign, isn't it? Maybe if it does on the day, we'll just have to let it cool down.
Or change the campsites.
Or change the campsites, right?
But if you had it, it's 78.
78, it's 44, yeah.
Bloody hell. With his massive sides.
I remember that actually.
And hair on his head.
You'll
have to blank that out the video.
Why, you think he'll watch?
Oh no, he won't watch, he doesn't know how to use a computer.
Just have to remember you need to put a fucking cathedral on.
I need to get used to these brakes.
See how you have to.
I just do it anyway. I can tell that's a short shift.
It's not quite as long as it should be, is it? Get my fucking tits in.
I was more laughing that you went that side.
Yeah, I do it every time.
Quite bumpy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll take it you're coming through, even though it's our right way.
Yeah, take it.
Ah, she screams! I think it just wants to set up now.
What was that there?
That was like just over 6.
It feels weird making being in it. It does, aye.
90 degrees.
Was it? But it's driving a lot better, like, so I think it should be right now.
It's above 4 there, like.
It's what?
It's above 4,000
yeah.
there. And it was still raining, so.
Spot on.
Get it down again, man!
I've been driving quite carefully while I've been in the road, and you get someone else in with you, you turn into a fucking...
Drop it again. Still rain.
Is it?
Right, still rain.
There was that flat spot in the middle there.
I see what you mean. It feels fucking dead, doesn't it?
In the centre.
It just doesn't feel powerful at all.
No,
It revs, but it doesn't feel powerful.
no, exactly.
It is still raining, like, so.
Still reading, so that's doing what it's supposed to be then. Dino, eh?
We're at 90 degrees now, like.
What are we going to do to get the arse end out, like? Give it the Scandinavian flick.
I give it the flick. Ooh, fucking hell.
What the fuck was that?
Massive hole.
Yeah, I can't fucking see that. I must have missed that last time.
Check your wheel. Because the fucking
It's this side, wasn't it?
the thin wheels, aren't they?
Looks okay visually.
Visually.
Smells hot.
Well, you've been giving it fucking death.
I've never drove it like that before.
It flew up.
Yeah. Oh, rub.
Was that what that was? There. That one there.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do the dump valve.
Do you have to move it like?
Doesn't feel right, not crunching.
I know.
That was not coming because I'm cutting this corner.
See what I mean?
I can feel it on back, can't you?
Yeah, and then it goes past it there. And then it pulls again after. It's like, I don't know whether the fueling's maybe wrong in the middle or what.
Well, Jonathan took a lot of fuel out of it right after 4,000, so I
Aye.
wonder if it's too like lean now.
It's the socket set and the tools.
It drives alright, like it's just a bit stiff, but you just
Yeah.
put that down to the billies and the low profile tyres.
Ah, yeah, the fact that it's fucking slammed.
If it had 60 profile tyres on, it'd be alright.
Mark II springs. No,
Oh
leaf
yeah,
springs.
Mark II leaf springs there.
No, it's a nice car to drive. I enjoy driving it. It's not like the Mini.
Aye, like horrendous.
Well, that's what I wanted.
Well, it was 6 there and it was still raining.
Still reading, spot on. Yeah, I think the step. Oh, we've still got to fucking retard the exhaust timing as well.
Oh yeah,
That gives you another 10 brake
yeah.
horse ish.
maybe.
You'll feel 10 brake horse like.
You keep telling yourself that.
Right guys, I would just like to say an absolute huge thank you to every single one of you, you know you are, for the absolute amazing support that you gave me following the Dyno Day video where everything went wrong, where I was honestly absolutely fed up, and the support and the comments from people, from the subscribers, from the viewers was absolutely immense. I had some fantastic comments explaining how to get around the issue, and just mainly the support that you gave me to carry on was really blew me away. I'll be totally honest. I read some of the messages and I thought, wow, how fantastic are these viewers like? They really do spur you on. There's no doubt about it. YouTube viewers really do spur you on to get the job done. So thank you to every single one of you. I would also like to thank a really unsung hero, my best mate Anthony. He's been absolutely instrumental recently in getting the issue with the VVT resolved. You know, he's got a little bit more patience with engine management than I have. He's got a lot more knowledge with it than I have as well. So without Anthony, I would have probably have took a great deal longer to resolve the issue. So thanks very much, Ant. Yeah, you know, I appreciate all your help, and I'll always obviously do whatever I can to return the favour wherever I can in future. Well guys, that's another episode out of the way, and the car is now running so much better. Hopefully we've resolved the issue. We're going to go for another drive this coming weekend and just test everything out again. Make sure that, you know, we definitely have got everything that we think we've got. And that flat spot in the middle of the rev range, we've actually been looking at the graph, the fueling graph. I'll actually put a picture in now so you can see. And what you'll notice is at the 4,000 RPM mark, the numbers are significantly lower than the RPM surrounding it. And that was probably due to the dyno day where Jonathan dropped all the numbers to try and bring the fueling down, because it was a bit high at that kind of area. But now that the cam timing's right, we both think it's asking for a lot more fuel. So what we're going to do, we're going to go out for a drive this weekend. We're going to make sure that the VVT map is following as it should be. And we're also going to try and just up the fueling at that 4,000 RPM range and see if it reduces that flat spot. So fingers crossed, that'll go well. I'll maybe let you see a bit of footage on that in the next episode if I get a chance to video it. But the next episode will probably see the car back at JDM. It's now booked in for at JDM again, and we'll be going back there at the end of April to hopefully get it right this time and come away with a big smile on my face instead of the utter disappointment that was last time. So I'll see you very soon guys, when hopefully you'll see the car on the rollers again, doing much better, producing decent power, and then I can get some real driving footage for you. I'd like to get some real good driving footage for you, because at the minute I'm kind of not wanting to push the car too hard because I know the fueling isn't bang on with it not being set up properly at the top end. But hopefully that'll all be resolved pretty soon. So thanks very much for watching guys. I'll see you very shortly.